Welcome to Season 3 of Sailing Sitka. I'm Kenna, and this is Jay. We live aboard our 1976 Choi Lee sailboat named Sitka, in which we have sailed south from Canada in 2022 to the very last port of Mexico. This season, we are finally exiting Mexico and taking our boat further through the Panama Canal and into the beautiful Central American waters. So hit that subscribe button and follow along, as this season we are sailing as far and wide as possible.
You guys you make this happen, and we couldn't do it without you. So thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Sailing Sitka, and I hope you enjoy. Almost tripped and died. Good morning, everybody. We are sailing off here from Linton after a week here, doing some reprovisioning, some fixings, and some rest. So we are off now, and we are going to be sailing back to San Blas. We're very excited. We're very excited to go back to island life and back to slow days and just enjoy the reason why we're over here on this side in the first place. We are going to set up the camera here for a time lapse, and it just started to get light out, so that's perfect timing. And we're going to be lifting the hook, and I'll be down below pushing the chain. And last time we were here in Linton, it was extremely muddy, so we're hoping maybe it's not going to be the case this time, but it's probably going to be the case. So Jay's going to have to bring a bucket up there with him and scrub everything, which is so annoying because everything's pretty clean right now. But that's the way she goes, so yeah, let's get into it. Finally, we were on the move again after Sitka sat idle for just over a week in Linton Bay. It felt amazing to have the wind back on my face and the familiar sway of Sitka beneath my feet. It signaled the beginning of new memories, fresh stories, and another chance to soak in the beauty of San Blas. Everything felt perfect. We were riding high. The boat was stocked, repaired, and ready for her next adventure. But in an instant, that wave of gratitude turned into a surge of anxiety and stress. Without warning, I heard Sitka's engine give one final cough. Not now. Not again.
Let's just go to that filter. That filter? To bleed it, so you'll have to go to start.
Oh my god.
Back there.
No.
Back there. Okay, hon. When I say go.
Yeah, just to on.
Yeah, right now.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay, going on.
There's so much air in there. It's probably because of
failure, so like we got it going again. I don't know if it's gonna happen again. I think it's that primary filter again. It looks clean, but there might be a little piece in those big waves that got stuck up the pickup tube. So yeah, we had to bleed it again and get it started on the secondary filter. So we'll see how long we last here in these choppy seas. No, we're good. We'll keep going, but yeah, just keep an eye on us. Awesome, thank you.
Instantly, memories of our engine failure from the Panama Canal came rushing back, casting a heavy cloud of doubt, stress, and anxiety over us. We thought we had figured this out. Since our last engine failure, we motored nearly 100 successful hours with no hiccups. So now what? The further we pressed on, the rougher the sea became. It's nearly impossible to truly capture the scale and intensity of waves through a camera lens. But the fact that it's even somewhat visible in this clip says everything about the conditions that we were facing. And so there we were, battling a brutal sea state with no reliable engine, holding our breath and hoping it wouldn't give out once more.
Put the main up, even though it wasn't the greatest conditions to put the main up, but we got the main for reefing, so at least I feel more confident that way. Like if we have an engine failure close to land, we can just put a bit of Jenny out and get out of trouble while we figure it out. But earlier what was sketchy is like we didn't have the main up, and it was so windy and in our phase that we're like, we didn't put it in. That's a good lesson learned. Like from now on I'm gonna have the main, like, well, sometimes you don't want it up though, but still more at the ready. So I don't know what really happened, to be honest. Like the fuel filter, like I didn't look at the fuel filter, but the bowl, all the fuel's clean. So I'm thinking there's like some hard stuff in the tank, because we found some hard stuff when we cleaned the other filter. So that tank probably needs like a good scrubbing. At one point we'll have to open it up and clean it, and that's probably going to be when we haul out and do a big job of it, because it's like in the most inaccessible spot on our boat. So but in the meantime, luckily we have a dual setup, so I switched to everyone and then had to bleed it. Bleeding our engine's pretty easy, luckily, so that wasn't too bad. But it's always stressful when you're in this big seas. We had no sails up, and yeah, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, people. Sometimes it's quite frustrating. Put all your money and time and energy into a boat, and then things start failing after one and after. So you know, gotta take the positives with the negatives. So that's why we're doing. Luckily we'll be in San Blas later today, and it'll be nice. As we bully, this is Sitka over on 16. And we just had the engine fail again, and I think it's our fuel pump that's starting to like shit the bed here. Yeah, like I'm trying to get it going, but like the fuel pump's not pushing fuel through. Like it's ticking on, but I'm not seeing like fuel come out. And then when we try to start it, then you get a bit of fuel, but then there's air in it, because it's like it kind of like dies off. There might be. I don't think so, because it's a self-bleeding pump, and like there's two big filters before it, so it shouldn't have a blockage, but it could be airlocked. I'm gonna try a bit more here and see there. Like I'm just letting it cool down for like a minute, because I just had like it on for like 2 minutes trying to get it going here. So I'm gonna let it cool for a minute and then we'll try again. It looks like it might be our fuel pump's airlocked, or I mean it's sticking over, but at one point it wasn't. So I think we need a new fuel pump. So yeah, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Because right now the only time we get fuel going through where bubbles are is when Kenna attempts to start it, but I don't want it to do that too often, because then we're going to get air through the injectors and then we're fucked. Because normally our bleed point is here, and when Kenna does it on, we'll see fuel start coming out. So let's try again.
You want to try? Okay, on. Okay, off.
And then come down here.
Come down.
That's here. And then grab the pump, the dinghy pump there. I think this will do anything.
The dinghy pump in the back.
No, the fucking. Oh, I can't open this one without my other tools. Okay, fuck. Honey, you're fine.
I know, I'm just seasick.
You're okay. Pump.
Pump?
Pump, yeah. Wait. Get closer. Okay, pump. Pump. Okay, stop. Okay, now go back outside.
Okay, turn it on.
So in 2 seconds you'll start the engine and you'll give it gas.
Okay.
Okay, go. All right, guys. Well, we sadly had to make the tough decision of turning around here because we don't feel confident in the engine right now, and we still had 35 miles to go on a lee shore the entire time with reefs, entering in a reef pass to get into an anchorage. So it didn't seem like the smart thing to do. And then once we'd be there, we're in a place where you can't get any boat parts. The engine was like, I don't know what's going on. I think it might be the fuel pump. I'll have to investigate further, honestly. Like, it's kind of like a weird one, this one. I gotta think more on it. I'm probably gonna use the hive mind there. I'm gonna go on the Yanmar forum there. People are usually pretty helpful on there, and see if somebody has a bit of a better idea. I mean, I've narrowed its fuel for sure, so I don't know if there's some sort of like air leakage somewhere in the system that's causing it to shit the bed, or the pump's kind of going. I don't know, but we'll have to figure it out, and San Blas is not the place to figure that stuff out. Right now we're giving the engine a break. We're sailing at like 5.5 with just a reef Genoa and a reef main, and Bully, super nice of them, like they turned around as well just to give us some assistance in case we need it. Normally I wouldn't be that worried about it because we have the outboard. I would just, like, once we got close in, I would just launch the dinghy and put the outboard in and side tie it in case the engine was to shit the bed as we're trying to drop anchorage.
Know about the outboard.
Oh yeah, Kenna's telling me you guys didn't know about the outboard, because the outboard happened last night. So last night we went for dinner after doing big provision for San Blas, fuel, water, all that stuff, get in the dinghy and like go to start the outboard, and it's just like with free pull. So I can demonstrate right now. So it's in neutral and like no resistance whatsoever, and we had that after we took the prop off, and I think that was our fault. Like I fucked up. Like we should have like put a piece of wood between the prop and the top when we unbolted the prop, and instead we had it in gear, and that messed up something. Like, and so basically the cable is pulling, but it's not activating like the stator, like the thing that spins below it that actually starts your engine, and that's not working. The thing too is, like, I know some people are gonna be like, well, you can just sail in the anchorage. Yeah, there's a shit ton of boats in there. It's like really tight. It's not the kind of anchorage you want to sail into if you don't, unless it's an absolute last option, then yeah, for sure. But yes, like in this case, like we're gonna be safe better than sorry. So it's kind of shitty because my mom flies in like a week, and we're supposed to be in San Blas, so hopefully we'll get this figured out. Yeah, kind of like on a stream of bad luck here, and I guess maybe just Sitka's a lot of miles on her, and she's starting to like show needs of like some love in here. But I don't know, we're gonna figure it out. I'm confident we'll figure it out, but it's just very frustrating. Kenna's extremely seasick, and that stuff stresses her out, and like once she had to be down below to help me for a second, so that just makes her like really seasick. So I feel bad for her, but yeah, hopefully we'll be back at anchor here soon. So I'm gonna get back on steering here. So the plan is he's gonna go on anchor and then he's gonna launch his dinghy. He's got a 25 horsepower, like super strong dinghy. So he's gonna come out and we're gonna sail as far in, and then we're gonna turn the engine on and just like kind of like putter in, and then he's gonna be there ready and standby. Hopefully we don't need him. That'd be the ideal situation, but if something does happen and the engine just quits at the worst possible time, he'll be there to like tie a button onto us and just like bring us somewhere safe. Can't thank Derek and Bowie enough. And that's the thing that, you know, like you get all these crazy shitty things that happen at sea, but the people and the other sailors are really what makes it worth it all, honestly. Like there's like, yeah, right now we're kind of in a shit soup sandwich lately, and that doesn't always translate, you know, on photos and videos. It looks all pretty, but yeah, when you're dealing with issues after issues and your bank accounts are just depleting, it's kind of like defeating a bit. But yeah, we'll try to keep morale up and figure it out. We just turned the engine back on, started without an issue right away. These are the kind of issues that are hard to figure out because they're intermittent. So I'm leaning more and more towards the fuel pump, but I'm gonna have to do more research on it because it's not something I have that much experience with. But from my experience and from what I've seen on other people's boats, that would be the most likely cause. I could be wrong. That's my inclination, because right now we're running at like 1100 RPM, and like it started right away, hasn't died. If there was an air leak coming in, like we motored like 60 something hours after, like 100 hours after that fuel change. So I don't think it's leaking air. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't make sense. So yeah, I'm starting to think it might be the fuel pump starting to go. Kenna's not impressed with boating life lately. But yeah, gotta take the punches sometimes. Can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs.
You guys, the stress that this shit causes, and I know there's probably people in the comments being like, you know, whatever, it's a normal thing to happen to a boat for engines to fail and yada yada, but fuck, is it stressful. It's hard to even describe on video, honestly, unless you're living through it or have lived through it. Super low morale, super defeated, super stressed, super anxious, super ready to get into the harbor and anchor and be safe and be able to just have Starlink on and start doing our research and start asking people and getting help from the cruiser community and figuring it all out. So anyway, that's all I have.
Started right away. That's what's the most frustrating part, is like I can't trust it. I don't know what. I think it might be the fuel pump that's like, because when we were trying to bleed it, at one point it just stopped. Yeah, it wasn't ticking. So I'm like, and I guess like it was working fine before, but I think in the canal we used it so many times, and during 2 days with like for minutes. So I might have like, you know, caused it like somewhere. So. Yeah. When we hit those big waves too, like even on big ships you can cut your diesel that way, so it might have been just that and air, I don't know, but like then it quit again and we weren't able to bleed it. Like we had the fuel pump on for like 2-3 minutes, nothing was coming out, and then I was like, fuck, I need to create a vacuum, so I took the hose off from the fuel tank. It wasn't clogged or anything, the fuel came out right away, but I think that reset it and then we put it back and then turn it back on, and then it kind of fueled pump. But then I'm like, we're only 2 hours from Linton, it might be smart to just fucking not end up in San Blas where I can't get anything if I need it. So.
We made it. Anchor down, we made it. Engine's still working beautifully, so I don't know. Oh my god. Freaking boat life, guys, like honestly. Ugh. from Bully for the side assistance in the dinghy. We did not need you, but we do need you in life.
All right.
Dude, we made it.
Dude, where's my car?
Dude, where's our engine reliance?
And that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Unfortunately, not the one we were hoping for. I wish I could say that we were wrapping things up with a peaceful night in the San Blas Islands, but instead, we found ourselves back in Linton, once again facing engine troubles. It's hard to say exactly how we ended up here, but here we are. I won't lie, it's pretty disappointing. I wanted to share something more uplifting with you all, but sometimes things just don't go the way we plan. If you've made it this far into this week's episode, comment the words boat life in the comments below to remind us that these tough moments are part of the bigger story. That every setback is a step towards something better, even if we can't just see it yet. This life tests us, often more than we'd like, but it's still filled with lessons and moments that matter. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, supporting, and riding out the waves with us, no matter how rough they can get. Make sure to subscribe and stick around for next week when we dive into the diagnostics of yet another engine issue. Let's see where this one takes us. Until then, cheers, and we'll see you all next Sunday. Thank you for watching this week's episode of Sailing Sitka. Stick around for more to come. If you enjoyed, please spread the love and let us know. Special thank you to our Patreon members for making these videos possible, as well as helping our dreams come true. See you all next week.